Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today you have asked me to look at the master thesis template or form that you're going to use for your thesis. So how do we get this form? We go to the Jordan University of Science and Technology website. Okay, just go here. So if you go to this website of Jordan University, if you go in the list, you go to academics and you go down here to the graduate studies. This is the faculty that governs your activities as master students. Although the program is produced in our department, but still you have to go there for the forms. And you will have a lot of forms to go through. And these are the forms you're going to use throughout your master thesis work. We're going to use this MS Master of Science thesis template, and this is the one we're going to talk about now. Okay, going back to the Word document. So it comes like this. What does it give you? It will give you all of the specifications that you need when you're going to write your thesis down. Okay, so it's the file that you're going to use, and you're going to imitate everything in that file. Some people like to write over this file and use this file as their template and write over it. So simply, I could just remove this sentence, but using the same format. Notice here, it's in Times New Roman font. It is size 18, the font, it's bold. I could copy it. I could remove this and then type whatever I want to type. It will do the same. So I'm going to use capitals. It's the same. So whatever I'm going to type here, it will reproduce the same format. So where do I get my master thesis full title? It's from the title that has been approved in the Faculty of Graduate Studies. And make sure, because we have two forms to fill in. You as a master student, me as a supervisor, I have to fill for you, and we together do filling of a form for the graduate studies faculty to specify the thesis title that you're going to use, and then we reapply in the Deanship of Research, because there they are approving the funds and approving the procedures, and if there are some ethical issues, they govern that subject. So make sure that the title that is present in your master thesis submitted to the graduate studies faculty is exactly the same one or the same title, without any additions of is, the, even those small bits and pieces. If there was a discrepancy between the two titles, it might be refuted because of this. So make sure that they are the same. So it's the title that is present in your website. This title, by the way, once it's approved from the Deanship of Graduate Studies, it will be appearing in your screen on your student website. So you'll know exactly the title of the thesis and always copy that from there. So once more, we're going to repeat the thesis title. You're going to put your name. What name are you going to use? It's usually the name on your passport. Make sure it's the same name that you are registered in the university by. So it's the same. Then when you go to the university asks for a copy of your passport to see the transcription of your name in the language of English. So you're going to use that name. And it's the same name that you're registered by the university. Once more, there are no hash, there are no tabs, there are no dots, commas, extra. It should be exactly the same as you are registered in the university. So because this will be electronically captured and put into libraries and so on. So you have to have your name exactly written as the same in the registration of the university. It's the same in your passport. So make sure those in the university and the passport match. Sometimes there might have been some mistakes. For example, especially in Arabic transcription, when I write the Arabic letters in English, you will have different ways of translating this into alphabetical signs. So make sure they match. The advisor, once more, you take the advisor name or the prof's name from the approval form that you have on your website. If you have a co-advisor, you add this, if you don't have a co-advisor, so suppose only one person is advising you in this thesis, you can remove this part. The thesis is submitted in partial fulfillment. Notice all of this is exactly the same, but here you add the name of your program. Where do you get the name of your program, the official name of your program? Once more, you find it on your students' webpage, the electronic forms that you have on your webpage, or you can get it from the webpage of dental school. The dental faculty will have the MSc programs it provides, and copy and paste the exact name of your degree or the title of your program that you're present. Notice all of you will not be allocated into different faculties. You will all be affiliated to the graduate studies faculty, because this is the faculty that governs your procedures as postgrads, okay? So it's not the faculty of dentistry, for example. This stays the same for all students studying master or PhD at our university, okay? The month and the year is the month and the year where you have done your submission of the thesis for discussion, okay? By the way, this might change. Suppose I submitted in December in 2024, and then my discussion was also in December. But when I wanted to finalize my additions and my adjustments according to the committee's comments, I submitted in January the next year. So it's the final year where you're submitting the thesis for the final approvals. Okay, so it's the thesis that had passed and ready to publish. This is the year and month that you add in. The title of the thesis, once more repeated, this is for signatures of authors for the responsibility of this work. Also, there you will have here the members from the faculty and the external examiner. This is an internal examiner. This is the external examiner. They will also sign that they have examined this thesis. It's part of the responsibility on the information present in it. This is like a form for telling that, according to law, that everything you have done or produced under this thesis is property of the university. And so this is their signature and my signature, if I was your supervisor, that we agree to this, because this thesis has been done within the campus of the university. Dedication, this section is where you thank people that had worked with you. So this dedication is beautiful to write, and it will even tell you, this is a very personal dedication. It's usually to family members, parents, maybe spouses, and so on. This is the personal dedication. So this is the gift for your family. For example, some people give it to a daughter, to a mother, father, both parents, and so on. While the acknowledgement is more scientific or more official. And this is where you thank everybody who worked for you. And they have put in suggestions. So when you want to add, you remove all of this text, but you keep it aside or in a form, unfilled form, to make sure that you have checked and thanked everybody who had worked with you. Okay, so the acknowledgement is more scientific, it's more official, and you're talking about people who have helped you through your procedures. And by the way, this was very, very helpful for me as a supervisor, because sometimes I worked with somebody from a lab, a materials lab, and I forget which engineer did he work for me for the tests. So having listing all people here will be helpful, or if for anybody reading the thesis, on where did they get the help for. For example, if it was a research lab, you needed some incubator, for example. We will say, I thank so-and-so for his work with the cell counts in lab, for example, the medical dental center lab, or the medical lab in King's Hospital lab. So thanking these people and the roles in how do they work with you in your thesis will help others reproduce and do similar thesis objectives, and know where to go in terms of devices, in terms of tests, in terms of kits, in terms of services provided in the university. So it's a beautiful guide, and you will also keep remembering those that help you. It's a beautiful way to thank people even if they are not in the authorship of your work. Okay, and these are some, I love this new format. The old formats that we had 2 years ago didn't have them. They are giving you examples of how to write an acknowledgement. You can use artificial intelligence, ChatGPT for this as well, but make sure that you have the rules exact for each one of the people you're acknowledging. The table of contents, as you see here, they are the table of contents, as you see here, they look like they are text, but actually they are like a table. So make sure when you write down these, for example, if I'm going to write here something and I'm going to change it, suppose I'm going to make it longer, just I want to add any letters and just to make it longer. I lost this format, okay? This format where the written text is on the left, the numbers are on the right. So if you could not manage to update this and work with this, this is automatically produced by, okay, let's just Control Z, going back. This is automatically produced by the way this table of format. This is table content, it's auto-generated, okay? Where is it generated from? It's generated from the titles you will have later on in your thesis itself, okay? So if I'm going through the thesis, I might have, let's say this one, okay? This is a title and it's part of these headings, heading number 1, heading number 2, heading number 3. And once you finish, okay, this automatically will be generated here, okay, in the table of content. So if we look here on the table of content, this is auto-generated. So where is this? Because it's a title, it might be, let's choose a larger title. Okay, let's say chapter 1. It's okay. It's heading number 1. Okay, it's giving me the exact font number, that font, the size, the bold or not, and this automatically is when you update your table of content, it will automatically go into here. So suppose that, for example, I'm going to go here. And the good thing about it, if I just click on it, I will go immediately to the section it works with, okay? So how do I click on it? Let's just put my pointer on it. It will give me how to go to the reference. I think it's a control. Okay, I think it's a control. Click. Yes, it immediately went. The control click, I immediately went here. Suppose that I changed this, okay? I added something, for example. If I go back to it with a control, it's not clicking it with a control. If I go back to the table, okay, table of content, I added a bit of letters here. And going back here, what will happen? Table of contents. Okay, it's the same, by the way. But if I update it, just click update the table. Going back, sorry. It keeps going, it gives me the references back here. But if I update this table of content, okay, update the table, it will take the new name, okay? See the new name here? And it also added the text you've added, but the text should not be included here, so we're going to remove it. But these are some instructions. But because they put the instruction in the same font as a heading, for example here, they place it as a heading, this is why the text is also appearing. But this is automatic, okay? This is the idea I wanted to show you. Okay, going back with the Control Z, I added, going back to our table of content. So it's automatically produced. If you have word skills, you can easily use them. If you don't, if you want to do them manually, you have to keep going back and forth to which page, and you have to add this. And usually this, if you're going to do it manually, it's added after the thesis is printed. So you keep this page alone, or 2 pages of this alone, empty. Then you finalize this title with this page number. They should match exactly what is present inside the slides, inside the rest of the thesis, sorry. Furthermore, now you see that we have what we call heading 1, we have heading 2, okay? So heading 1 is the number of the chapter, heading 2 is 4.1 is subheading, and then you have subheadings. So all of these are present in the thesis here. They are outlined in the thesis where you can use them automatically and add some work with them, okay? So this is how you would do them. And the beautiful thing, once more, each section has an explanation. Okay, going here to the figures, the same issue, but notice that the figures are as a table. Okay, So it's the borders are hidden, but once you write down the text here, you will only have text. Once more, the pages are verified after the thesis is printed, and you verify and add these 2 pages to your thesis before binding it, by the way, just when they are still separate papers. These are the list of tables. So once more, you finalize them and you finalize the thesis printing, list of appendices. And by the way, notice that they are numerated in Roman style. So the numbers of the pages, if they are added to the thesis, they don't affect the numbers here, okay? The appendices, what are appendices? These are sections of your thesis that are too long to be added to the thesis itself. So you add them in, for example, your data, you add them as an appendix. For example, you have used a questionnaire, you add it as an appendix. If you used an examination form, a specific for your thesis, you add them as appendices. You don't add them within the thesis itself, okay? Abbreviations, if you have used abbreviations throughout the thesis, so to make sure the printing out easier and the reader will oriented with these abbreviations, you can put them here. For example, if you're going to do TMD, temporomandibular dysfunction, for example, and so on. So if you're using abbreviations, but notice that abbreviations is a big issue where I had a paper, I reviewed a paper for a journal. They had so many abbreviations that I was lost while reading the thesis. I asked them to add this list of abbreviations in a table. So make sure you don't use a lot of abbreviations. And by the way, these abbreviations are the terminology. These abbreviations are usually concerned with the keywords that you're using in your thesis, not in the introduction. For example, in the thesis, you're using groups, group 1, group 2, or whatever abbreviation you're using. So those are the abbreviations in your thesis, not the abbreviations used in papers that you have reviewed. The abstract, you know what's an abstract? I'm not going to go through it, but notice here, I love the word they have now put all of the instructions there. So if you read this carefully, you know how to use this. Then in the introduction, you have all of these headings, subheadings. They will tell you how much margin. By the way, why are they specifying it, or although this template is already made? Because some people don't want to use this template. They want to do it on their own. So it's giving them how to affect the margin. For example, this is the margin. How much do I move, okay, in terms of centimeters? By the way, this ruler now is in inches. You have to change it into centimeters to understand this, okay? If you're going to use this format, for example, I'm going to just remove this and type here whatever I'm going to type, it will automatically be within the same parameters, okay? Okay, it tells you how to prepare your introduction, what is the statement of problem. All of these are parts of the thesis. I'm not going to discuss them today. I'm just going to go through the figures, the format of the figures, the format of the tables. These are already made. You just simply fill them in, okay? Or if you're using a word other than this, you do them on your own, but make sure that you're using the same font size. Also, you're using the same spacing between sentences. Notice here they have used 2 degrees of separation between sentences, okay? They also used adding a space after each paragraph, okay? So if you're using this, you simply just add in. If you're using another word, make sure that you follow the same criteria. Finally, I'm going to talk about using this template. When you have decided to use this template, I usually give it to my students the first day we begin to work with our thesis, because it's very beautiful and it gives the student a vision on what is he going to write and how he's going to write it. He feels a lot of accomplishment while he's doing this and filling this up, even especially when the periods of waiting for material to come, waiting for the lab to go, waiting for approvals to come. If you're going to send an IRB approval, these take time. So usually I let my students work with the thesis in the first time. But because they're working it from the very beginning of their work in the master degree, they will open it many times. So my advice for you, in any electronic format or any electronic system where you're opening a document multiple times, it will clash at some point, because there will be some extra electrical activity where this is saved, because this will be saved in a folder. So make sure that you each time you go and save it as, okay, save as a new name. And each time save it by the, I prefer not a name, don't say 1 and 2 and 3 and so on. Just save it by the date. So if you have a date where this has been opened, save it by the date. So today is 1st of April, just write down 1st of April, okay? So this is thesis template, 1st of April, thesis template, and even put the year 2002, because if you're running your thesis from year to year, you will be confused which copy you need. This is especially important when you're you might use some information, remove it, and then the examiner will ask for it, and you will find it ready written here. Final thing I'm going to talk about this is the referencing type, referencing the style of your references. These are where your references, they will tell you how to use your references. You have Harvard style and Vancouver style. If I just go to the website where I've just looked for you, look them up. This is parenthetical referencing using Harvard style. There's a Vancouver system. This is the Vancouver system. They allow you, they're free. You can use either one of them. The parenthetical system, I find it easier because the placing the references in super scripts over the text, you can use multiple systems with EndNote and so on. So what are the references styles? You have multiple references styles. We are using the Vancouver and the Harvard, okay? So make sure and these go to Wikipedia, Vancouver system and parenthetical references. These are the two styles. Read about them and see how they're written. Or a more easier way, just go to your library, pick up any thesis, and you will see that both styles there. And you have to copy them and do them. You could do them manually. You could do them electronically with programs that run references, okay? But once more, when you have multiple references, go make sure that you use your PubMed, you cite the reference correctly. You can use any of these systems that usually the American physiological, psychological, and or the modern language styles are the ones close to what we're using, okay? So those two are the close. This might be closer. Okay. There is the NLM system. Okay, so make sure you follow the system and use the site here, and then change if you need to. So when you download them, when you download a reference, it will give you the format downloaded, and sometimes it will even give you the option here in the website where you can save as, okay, if I want to save, it will give me what do you want to save it as, or even send it to, it will give you some citation manager systems that are electronically, so you can use the citation there. Okay, so this is what I wanted to say about the thesis template. Once more, just one note on the thesis. Always, when you keep opening it, always go back and save it. Every 2 weeks, save it in another name, and you can track your progress. If you needed something, you'll always find it. Thank you very much. If you have any question quickly before we finish.
دكتورة ممكن أسأل سؤال كلينيكال، يعني شيء كلينيكال ولا؟
Keep it about this now, for now, and the clinical
خلاص
question we can
أوكي.
have it in the clinic. Okay, fine enough?
آه
Fine, okay.
يس.
Thank you very much and see you next time.
يعطيك
يعطيك العافية
العافية دكتورة.
الله معكم. الله يعافيك.